What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. And today we're going to be doing a Los Angeles Clippers realistic rebuild. So we're back doing the realistic rebuilds now that the All-Star break is over, because every team's going to kind of, look towards the future, whether it's for that championship or whether they're looking towards the offseason to draft somebody or get that certain free agent. We all know NBA teams are looking into the future, whether, like I said, it's championship, free agent, or drafting somebody. So today, obviously, the Clippers kind of looking towards a championship, and they're really hoping out of all this they can convince Kawhi to stay. Paul George has already signed a contract. What about Kawhi Leonard? That is the biggest question for the Clippers' future, I feel like, because we all know the Clippers gave up a lot to get Paul George to make Kawhi sign to LA. So what is Kawhi going to do in the future? Of course, in this rebuild, we're going to attempt to keep him, but make sure you guys smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. 6% of you watch this video aren't even subscribed. What are you doing? Hit that sub button. But other than that, let's rebuild the Clippers as realistically as we can. First and foremost, I just want to go down the entire Clippers roster and see what we're working with, obviously. So we got Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, both All-Stars this year. They were on opposite All-Star teams, but they were both All-Stars. Serge Ibaka, a big man in the middle. Lou Williams, Zubac, Marcus Morris, Patrick Beverley. Obviously, Nicholas Batum has come over here and it's kind of helped out a lot from the Hornets. But, I mean, they're very deep. They definitely have a nice bench and all that. So, I kind of wish this team had a little bit more, I would say, like, actually, I don't really want to start Lou Williams at point guard, to be honest with you. So, I'm going to go ahead and move that, and Beverley will start for defense. We have Patrick Beverley, Paul George, Kawhi, Batum, Serge Ibaka, Lou Williams, Zubac, Marcus Morris. I think Marcus Morris, you know, that's fine. I'll leave it like that. That's fine. Luke Kennard, I'm actually going to go ahead and just move this to a 9-minute rotation. That way we don't really have a 7-4 overall in the rotation, and we just give all the minutes to the guys we need to. So this is our starting five. What is it going to lead us to? Obviously, in real life, the Clippers are a championship contender in my mind, but what does 2K think? And of course, off of that, we'll make our decision in the offseason, see what we're going to do with this team, and ultimately with the goal of bringing the championship to LA rather than the other LA team, the Lakers. And ultimately we finished with the 3rd seed in the Western Conference as we went 50-32. So not bad whatsoever. That's kind of where you could expect the Clippers to potentially be this season. So MVP goes to LeBron James, something that could happen in real life. Shot 54, 70, and 42%. LaMelo Ball, Rookie of the Year. Precious, Giannis, Christian Wood. Usually these are all kind of the same, so I don't know why even know why I go through them, to be honest with you, because they're usually the same. As far as all NBA teams, do we have Kawhi Leonard? Yes, we do. And do we get a Paul George at all? We do not, it looks like. But all defensive teams, we do get Kawhi Leonard and we get Paul George. So we do get those two on all defensive teams at least. And we are, like I said, the 3rd seed in the West. So we are going to be going up against the Portland Trail Blazers, Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. So 29 points from Kawhi, 26 from Paul George, 16 from Williams off the bench. So very productive for us. Then Serge Ibaka with 14.5. Marcus Morris with 9, Zubac with 8.5 and 7. So this would be a very, very scary playoffs for the Clippers because, like I said, Kawhi Leonard is a pending free agent. What is Kawhi gonna do based off what happens in the playoffs? Literally, no one's gonna know other than Kawhi and maybe some of his family that's close to him. Is Kawhi gonna stay with the Clippers, or is he going to leave and sign elsewhere? We just don't know. I assume he's gonna stay in LA because he has wanted to play in LA for so long and he's finally here. But we'll have to see. Nobody knows. Kawhi Leonard is a different man. You just don't know what the man is thinking about. So this is the team we're facing, though. Damian Lillard, CJ Nasir. They did trade for Larry Nance, Yusuf Nurkic, Enes Kanter, Gary Trent Jr., Anthony, Zach Collins, Derek Jones, Harry Giles. Also, I do want to do a Portland Trail Blazers realistic rebuild where we trade CJ McCollum and let Gary Trent take over that starting shooting guard role. Let me know if you guys would want to see that because I feel like that would be interesting. But here we go. So game 1. We're up 1-0 to start things off. Looking at the box score, 52 from Kawhi Leonard to start things off. Obviously, the Blazers defense, as we all know, is just not really there. So, I guess that could happen. Game 2 does go to us as well. Look at the box score. Wait, did this man really just have 52 in both games? So Kawhi Leonard right now is averaging 52 points in the playoffs. Okay. I didn't know the Blazers defense was that bad. All right, it's 2-1 now, and Kawhi Leonard had 35 that game. So still a very good game, but we're up 3-1. And let's look at it again. Kawhi Leonard with 33. So Kawhi Leonard is averaging a really good statistics against the Blazers, who, like I said, don't have the greatest of defense. So now we're on to the second round to play the New Orleans Pelicans, which is a team that's probably not even going to be in the playoffs, I imagine, but we'll see. The Los Angeles Lakers got eliminated by Utah, which is interesting. So you got Denver and Utah, New Orleans and LA, and we got Philly, Orlando, Milwaukee, and Boston. For some reason, New Orleans and Orlando are always just powerhouses in the simulation. So we got Lonzo, Bledsoe, Ingram, Zion, Adam, Jackson Hayes, Nickel, Josh Hart, and Willie Hernan-Gomez. So simulating game 1, we're up 1-0. Rightfully, the Clippers should win this series, but since this is 2K, you just never know. We're up 2-1 on them right now, and we're up 3-1, and we beat them in 6, maybe? Yes, we do. We're on to the Western Conference Finals to play the Utah Jazz. So maybe the Utah Jazz go into the NBA playoffs and surprise us and beat the Lakers, which I don't picture that happening, but you just never know, I guess. So now we got Conley, Mitchell, Joe Ingles, Derek Favors, Rudy Gobert, Jordan Clarkson. So this Utah Jazz team is nothing to be, nothing to take lightly. They're a very good team. So game 1 does go to us, though, so that's a good start. Paul George had 35, so love to see that. And then Kawhi Leonard only had 9 points that game. We definitely need him to step up a little bit there. Game 2 goes to us as well. So we have Paul George and Kawhi both dropping 40 in this game. That's a good thing to have. The Utah Jazz do get one on us, though, with Donovan Mitchell dropping 26, Conley with 20. Do we go up 3-1 here? We do, and we could maybe go to the NBA Finals here. And yes, we do. We beat the Utah Jazz in 5 games, and we're going on against the Philadelphia 76ers, who are the best team in the East right now. So, Philadelphia got Maxey, Matisse, Simmons, Tobias, Embiid, Dwight Howard, Milton, JaVale McGee, Danny Green. All right, so let's see if we can win a championship in season number 1. We're down 1-0 to start things off. The 76ers take one on us. We do even it up, though, so that's good. So Tobias Harris 36, Paul George had 40. So Paul George and Kawhi are doing their thing, which is great, because obviously there's some times where Paul George has not shown up in the playoffs. Game 3 goes to us as we're up 2-1. It is an even series once again. Game 5 is going to go to them, so we're down 3-2. That is not good. We definitely need to force a game 7 here. Thankfully, we are in LA for this one, so let's see if we could potentially force a game 7 here. Very close game, and we are not going to force a game 7. We lose by 2 points in the NBA Finals as the 76ers go on to win the championship. So, the Clippers were so close to winning a championship at the very least. They lost in 6. In my mind, if I had, I'm going to be honest with you, if it was Philly and the Clippers in a 7-game series, that one would be close. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Clippers got one on, took it over them, but I wouldn't be surprised if Philly did either. So, very back and forth series, but unfortunately, we did lose. Is that enough to convince Kawhi to stay? I don't know. I'm going to try to sign him anyway, because obviously, it would be, in my mind, for the Los Angeles Clippers in their best benefit or in their best interest to keep Kawhi Leonard around, because you don't want to lose him. So, the Indiana Pacers have the number 1 pick in the draft. I'm sorry that you guys can't see that because of my webcam, but the Chicago Bulls actually get the number 1 pick, and we end up with, I don't even know if we have our pick this year, to be honest with you. But I didn't really see if we had one, to be honest. So let me see if we did. We didn't. Oh, we had the 23rd pick. Okay, so staff signing. We got Tyronn Lue, Chauncey Billups, Kenny Atkinson. I'm not going to change anything there. One thing I will do is fire our trainer, because we're going to try to upgrade this team a little bit. We definitely want to, make new additions to the roster. Lou Williams is going to be a free agent, so definitely need to find a replacement for him. We have the 23rd pick still. We have Luke Kennard under contract. We have Beverly under contract. So we do have salaries that we can shed away and trade away if we want to make some kind of big trade, ideally, which would be a lot of fun if we could do that. So I'm looking at Beverly and Marcus Morris. So Marcus Morris' contract is massively large. If I did want to trade it, I'm just out of curiosity what I could get. Serge Ibaka might be a free agent this offseason, so maybe trying to get something. We could trade for Al Horford, would be an interesting center bring in to maybe help us out if he was still playing at a high level at the age he is, and he would expire, which wouldn't be too detrimental to our salary. So Al Horford could be an interesting option. I don't know if I want to go for that. I don't know if that's the big move that I should be going for, but there is that opportunity. So I'm not going to trade anybody on draft night. I'm just going to go to the 23rd pick and kind of see what I can grab here. So with the 23rd pick, we have this power forward on the board. You have Terrence Clark still on the board. So I think I am going to trade Luke Kennard. And so we probably should get some guard depth. So we'll be taking Terrence Clark at number 75 or number 23, 75 overall. I might end up trading him, though, and be completely honest. So Serge Ibaka and Kawhi Leonard both accept their player options. So Kawhi Leonard's probably looking for a bigger payday, which makes sense. Terrence Mann, and I'm not even going to try to say that guy's last name. And then qualifying offers, Amir Coffey, 6'7" overall. Probably not going to worry about him too much. But as far as bird rights, Serge Ibaka, I have bird rights on. It says I don't have bird rights on Kawhi, which literally makes no sense whatsoever. So, Nicholas Batum is somebody I would love to have back as well. Ibaka, definitely somebody I'd love to have back. Lou Williams, not as much. He's asking for too much money. Reggie Jackson. So there's some free agents I want out here. But first and foremost, the most important thing is getting Kawhi Leonard back. I don't know why it shows I don't have his bird rights. We should be able to get him back, though. And we do. So Kawhi Leonard, very, very important to bring back. So we bring in Kawhi. Serge Ibaka, honestly, I think I definitely would like to have him back, so I'll give him a 2-year deal. And I wouldn't mind getting Nicholas Batum back on like a 1-year deal type of thing as well. So Lou Williams, like I said, not as much, but if I can sign all 3 of these guys, that is a W. We bring all those guys back. Lou Williams, I would like to find a replacement just because 15 million is a lot to give away. And Reggie Jackson, I wouldn't mind re-signing, I guess, to like a 1-year deal as well if we want to do something like that. So I'll sign Reggie Jackson back. And now I want to make some big trade if I can. So ideally, I would like to look for somebody that's going to help us out. So a point guard, which is something the Clippers have wanted for quite some time. So if I can find a point guard realistically that I think would help us right now, that's what I'm going to do. So let me see if I can find that point guard for us, and hopefully I can make it happen this offseason. We're looking to win a championship, and John Wall has shown for the Houston Rockets that he can still play at a high level. So maybe the Clippers find salary to match a way to get John Wall to bring him to the Clippers. So when you look at this, it does look like we're giving up a lot of players, don't get me wrong, but look at this. We got Terrence Mann, Terrence Clark, Alex Len, Luke Kennard, Patrick Beverley. Essentially, we're only losing Luke Kennard and Terrence Clark in my mind, and then maybe Terrence Mann, but Beverley is not somebody we're too worried about, and Alex Len is somebody we're not too worried about either, who I just picked up in free agency to make money work. So Terrence Clark, Terrence Mann, so all of this for John Wall. Honestly, if we could find a way to do this without Terrence Mann in the deal, that would actually be kind of awesome if we could find a way to do that. But okay, so we can do Mafandu Kabengele as well instead. So let's see if they would do this, and they agree. So we don't trade Terrence Clark. Instead, we trade and we get John Wall to be our point guard, which is something, like I said, the Clippers have been searching for. So we have John Wall. We have obviously Paul George, Reggie Jackson. We have Kawhi Leonard, Marcus Morris, Nicholas Batum, and we still have Serge Ibaka, Ivica Zubac. So we still have our power forward. We got a point guard, and we definitely need some depth at that small forward, and we could use some depth. Yeah, we just kind of need small forward depth, and we're chilling for next year. So Lou Williams is still there that we could just go ahead and give a contract to. So I guess we can give him a 1-year deal. Why not? You might as well, right? So we get Lou Williams back. It's going to be there as another good option. So Terrence Clark, how tall is he? He's 6'7", so I feel like he could maybe play the backup 3. So we'll have Reggie Jackson essentially being the backup point guard, Lou Williams as the backup shooting guard, Terrence Clark, Nicholas Batum, Ivica Zubac, and Serge Ibaka are still there. So we got John Wall. I don't know how much of an upgrade that is, but in real life, I think John Wall would be a W of an upgrade. I don't love how he's going down in overall, because I feel like John Wall has shown that he can be good on the Rockets, and I think he could be good on a contending team still. So John Wall, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, I think could be very, very interesting, and I think they could do some damage in the West Conference. Season number 2, we end up as a 2nd seed in the West. MVP goes to Mr. Joel Embiid. We got Cade Cunningham, Rookie of the Year on the Chicago Bulls. Clarkson, 6th Man of the Year on the Utah Jazz. Jonathan Isaac, Defensive Player, which is honestly, Clarkson may deserve it this year as far as 6-man years are considered. Quinn Snyder, Coach of the Year, and Alex Ford, Executive. So All-NBA first team, we got Joel, LeBron, Giannis, Luka, Trey. All-NBA second team, Dame, Ja, AD, Kevin Durant, Jokic. We have Kawhi Leonard making it, James Harden, Russ, Karl-Anthony Towns, and then all-defense first team. No Kawhi, and we get Kawhi Leonard making all-defense second team. No Paul George appearance this time around. So we are the 2nd seed in the West, like I said. The Los Angeles Lakers aren't even in the playoffs, which is just crazy to think about. But looking at player stats, we had 27 from Paul George, 25 Kawhi, 19.5 from John Wall, 11 from Lou Williams, 11 from Serge, 9 from Zubac, 7 from Clark, and 7 and 5. So not too shabby. Here we are, man. This is our championship or bust kind of season, bro. We just made a lot of additions, got John Wall to come in here to be our guard that we desperately needed, and I think he could definitely help out the Clippers. If they did something like that where they can make the salaries work, I feel like that would be very interesting. It looks like the Pelicans do have Kyle Lowry. So similar to game 1, they're up 1-0, so that is not a good start of things. So let me go ahead and fix the game plan there, and let's go game 2. We're down 2-0, so that again isn't good. So if we do get swept by the 7th seed, I wouldn't be surprised here, because like I said, bro, 2K has the Pelicans and the Magic as like the next Golden State Warriors, it seems like, bro. It's just how it goes. So let me see if we can even this series up and not get upset by the 7th seed. That would be kind of ideal here. That would be probably not, yeah, it's not gonna happen. I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, 2K is just, the simulation is just so stupid, bro. It just is. Like, the Pelicans and the Magic are not the next 20 or not the next 70, whatever it is. Chicago, like, they just beat the crap out of us, like, essentially. So yeah, it is what it is. We're the 2nd seed, they're the 7th seed. It's just, I'm not even shocked anymore. Orlando actually lost the playoffs, which is crazy as well. But New Orleans does go all the way to the NBA Finals and loses to the Brooklyn Nets. So unfortunately, we do lose to a 7th-seeded New Orleans Pelicans team, which is just very, very unfortunate, but it is what it is. So I'll give this one more season, because Kawhi and Paul George are not getting any younger, so unfortunately, that is what we're faced with. Staff signing, I guess I'm going to go ahead and fire my coaching staff, see if that makes any much of a difference. Maybe bring in Mike D'Antoni or something like that to be our head coach, so he can become the head coach. I'll sign Jeff Hornacek. So bring those guys in, and we'll sign Trent Peterson to be our assistant or something like that. We'll just do something along the lines of that. So straight to rookie signing, because I don't believe we have a draft pick. So we have Aldison Kudu, or however that is. I'm not going to worry about it. John Wall accepts his player option, of course, $47 million. You would not want to leave that on the table. Zubac, I will accept his team option. And then qualifying offers, General Turu, if he wants to come back, I'm more than okay with that. But free agency, do we have any crazy free agents to worry about? We have Nicholas Batum as a free agent. But I'm going to be honest with you, I'm probably not going to sweat over Nicholas Batum. Maybe we have to, though. So John Wall still there. Paul George still here. Kawhi, Terrence Clark, Marcus Morris. And then we still have our center spot kind of dealt with. So, all right. Now looking at things, we could sign like a JaVale McGee, maybe to be somewhat of interesting to just play some minutes, I guess, here and there. There's Maxi Kleber as well. So I'll give Maxi Kleber a contract because I don't know if I want to bring back Nicholas Batum. So we'll sign Maxi Kleber. And then I guess we pretty much don't really have a choice here. I'll sign Nicholas Batum because we really can't make upgrades anywhere else. And then John Henson, Boban Marjanovic. So we're kind of stuck to where we can't really do much of anything else. We're just kind of, you know, obviously not a whole lot of cap space to be dealt with. So Quinn Cook, I'll sign. We got Damian Lee, who could be interesting, I guess. So, and then Jake Layman, Torian Prince, maybe just bring in some guys that could just help us out, essentially. So, all right, I think that is what we're going to have to deal with. So we have John Wall and Quinn Cook. We have Damian Lee. We have Kawhi Leonard, Terrence Clark. We have Marcus Morris, Nicholas Batum, Max Kleber, Torian Prince, and then Zubac and Serge Ibaka still. So that is basically what we're going to be rolling with. So we're basically banking on Kawhi, Paul George, and John Wall still leading us the way, and hopefully our role players are just good enough. Essentially, that's kind of what our hope is right now, because we got beat by a 7th seed. So not a whole lot of wiggle room. I don't think I can do much of anything else. We obviously kind of traded for John Wall, so we're just kind of hoping he can be good enough. And like I said, we just hope our guys can just still compete, and maybe with the new addition of a head coach, we're still going to be solid. So all right, now looking at things, Serge Ibaka is down bad as well. Let's go ahead and throw Terrence Clark some potential there. And now looking at our rotation, we got John Wall, Paul George, Kawhi, Nicholas Batum, Zubac, Terrence Clark, Serge Ibaka, Max Kleber, Daniel Toro, and Marcus Morris. So I don't want to run a 9-man rotation or a 10-man rotation. So I think what I might do is probably move Serge Ibaka to power forward, because that would probably make a lot more sense. That way he can just start at the 4 maybe. So we have Ibaka and Zubac out there together, I guess. So we have Terrence Clark off the bench, Batum, Max Kleber. So we have a lot of forwards coming off the bench, but it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, so proficiency is 4 out of 7 seconds. So we're just going to basically hope and pray that this team is just good enough to get it done. And if it is, we win a championship by the end of this. At the end of this season, we finish as a 45-37 team. So I'm not really expecting much this last season. Kawhi and Paul George were still fantastic. John Wall had 18 and 9. So, I mean, I feel like the role players around us just aren't the most fantastic. I don't think they're bad, though. But, I mean, when Kawhi and Paul George are getting up there in age, and John Wall as well, it's just kind of a matter of, are we going to win it at all? And the New Orleans is the 8th seed. Just kind of shows you how weird this game is. Like, they just beat us and made it all the way to the NBA Finals, and the next season they're the 8th seed. Like, what is going on? But now we're playing the Portland Trailblazers. We did beat this team in season number 1, but it does look like a different roster now. So I'm not saying we could win the series. Don't get me wrong, but we'll have to kind of just see what happens. So game 1 does go to them, so that is not a good start of things. So actually, I think I'm going to shorten the rotation just to do everything I possibly can to win this series somehow. That is kind of what we've come to. So game 2 is going to go to them as well. Game 3 does go to them. So essentially, we're probably going to lose here. And that's just how it's going to be. So let's see if we can make this 3-0 comeback maybe. Or we can at least win one game. That would be awesome. And we do win 119 and 131. So I guess we're not put to bed just yet. We could maybe make things interesting here. And maybe win another one. And then put the sweat on the Portland Trailblazers. It's looking pretty good this game. And we are going to win this one 152 to 141. So don't close the video out just yet. We're not done yet just yet. Let's see if we can even this series up and force a game 7. Pretty close one, but it looks like the Blazers are running away with it. So yeah, that is gonna be all she wrote. So unfortunately, we do somewhat make things interesting, but at the end of the day, we don't win a championship in this video. So let's be honest with ourselves though. If we're gonna be completely blatantly obvious, as the Celtics win the championship, the Los Angeles Clippers championship window is probably within the next 2 seasons. It just kind of depends what Kawhi is going to do. If Kawhi leaves, things become very, very, very interesting. What are the Clippers going to do? They're going to have Paul George in a contract still, but what are they going to do around Paul George? That's when I'm very, very interested to see what happens. But unfortunately, we weren't able to win a championship. We got super close twice, but we just couldn't get it done. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Definitely leave a like if you did. And what other team should we rebuild next? Other than that, this is Crushables. I'm saying peace.